cardiac arrest, cardiogenic shock. There's no option in those patients. They will need, it's more like a left ventricular assist device rather than a true resuscitative device like LVAD, more complicated, difficult to insert, needs much more technology, very limited market. I would say, 1 to 2% at the moment.
Okay. Interesting. And then, if there was, companies out there working on a rival product, which I'm sure there are, as you say, how long would it take to go through a process of, animal trials, human trials, all the various approvals to commercialization?
It's interesting. It's a great question because routinely, if you see any other device, any stand, any third generation stand, any LVAD, there's HeartMate and a Biomed as far as left ventricular assist device. There's a lot of competitor technology, and they alternate every 6 months. They come out with a new model, and so in this particular domain, I think the Biomed has a quantum leap. I think they're like 90% ahead of anybody else. So I don't see, and on the other side, there are almost all the tech companies working on such devices, and they may come around, but even if they came around and they got good models or better models, they need to show in studies. So usually, at a minimum, even if somebody has hidden or advanced phase 3 studies technology where they're deploying phase 3 and then indication, that is a minimum 3-year lead time and more of a maximum 5 years till they get any reasonable competitor comes near them in this. They have a niche and an advanced niche here as far as the Biomed because of Impala.
Do you think it's do you think in order for reimbursement to come down a lot, do you think we need to see more competition in the market? Because correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am, but it was my understanding that in something like stents, reimbursement started to come down when there was other cheaper alternatives available. Whereas at the moment there doesn't seem to be any alternative really for Abiomed.
Yes, that's true, and I think that that's the company, decreasing their costs, if they have more competitors, so they can increase their sales. But they may not do that, so they'll keep the cost up, and because they have no competitors. However, Medicare, on the other hand, so there are two different things, does not look at it that way, that there's no competitor. But if it finds that the use is growing, if it also finds that people are using it borderline, it will start coming down. Medicare works independently of that, and it'll keep coming.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I mean, is there anything else we haven't discussed which you think is important to you?
I think to summarize, I think that hemodynamically, the Biomed is better than intra-aortic balloon pump. They have the indications are a little broad now, in high-risk PCI, both elective and emergent. They also have cardiogenic shock, and then they have advanced heart failure with cardiogenic shock and post-cardiotomy syndrome. So even though they have no true outcome study, it's grown in the folklore that this is what should be used. Now, it's also obviously linked to the fact that the reimbursements are grossly higher. So that's the driving force, in my opinion. The company has done a very good marketing job and very quickly evolved into different models, and I think that they've become the only big kahuna in the field, and I think that their market share will grow and increasingly take over the balloon pump. Not that balloon pump is not doing the same things in a lot of settings, but they have less studies, and nobody has invested in big studies in that. And